Hi everyone, welcome to our next session here on track 1. This session will be presented by Jenna Williams, and it's called Aided Language Stimulation, Input Leads to Output, and we'll turn it over to Jenna.
Hi everybody, ciao from Venice, Italy, where I am currently vacationing with my family. I highly recommend it here, and thanks for tuning in while I take a little break to share aided language stimulation with everybody. All right. All right. So I graduated from Chapman University with my master's degree, and I'm currently working as the lead AAC specialist in Oakland Unified School District, and I also provide clinical supervision to other people who are enjoying the area of AAC as a specialty in their career. And I also participate in the speech pathology groups, who's my employer, AAC mentorship program, where we have SLPs that would like to learn more about AAC and become specialists as well. They go through a mentorship program where they can gain knowledge and comfort in this area to grow in the area of AAC, and that's a 1-year program, and I present and train along the way. So let's talk about aided language stimulation. What do you see when you see these symbols? They may be new to a lot of you, and you may or may not know Japanese, and that is exactly what our students feel like when we just put the board in front of them, when we just drop it there and we expect them to automatically know how to communicate with the symbols. The symbols, like, all are foreign, whether or not you speak Japanese. When you see something the first time, you know, you can take guesses at what they mean, but that black blob, would you ever guess that actually means big? You may know that a rabbit is quick. Would you automatically think that means fast? These are what these symbols stand for. So when we are using these symbols, when we're using all forms of AAC, why are we using it? We're using it for communication. Research shows that it can lead to speech, or you may be using AAC indefinitely. It can reduce frustration and behavior problems. It's very concrete. AAC is concrete, and it makes everything less transient because it's very visual. It's a means to increase social interaction with peers, and to provide support for accessing other emerging skills such as literacy. And AAC should be multimodal. It should be more than one form of communication to meet all your needs and social expectations. Typically, many of us use 2 or more forms of AAC or visual supports as we talk. I constantly talk with my hands. I'm doing it now. And when I'm texting, I'm always using emojis and little pictures to really explain what I'm saying, and that's multimodality. Therefore, our children, our students, need to learn multiple symbol systems and different types of support. And as I go through my presentation, I always say child or student, because that's the population that I work with. This applies to adults or any AAC user. So what should AAC be? What should it be? It should be used frequently, interactively, and generatively to express a wide range of communicative intents. And it should occur in at least 80% of ongoing classroom programming and daily activities, anything outside of the classroom, just like our natural speech or manual sign would be used. It should be used to mediate communication with peers, as well as classroom personnel, family members, doctors, therapists, aides, clinicians, and it should be designed and implemented in a manner that is both time effective and as cost effective as possible. AAC today, what do I see when I'm going throughout and doing trainings on AAC? I often see that these displays and devices are not used, that AAC users are typically the responders and they're not the initiators. The interaction pattern is focused on closed-ended questions, such as, what do you want? So if we take a moment and we think about that, and if everything was closed-ended, if you went about your day that way, what would it look like? For me, when I think about it, I think, okay, I start my day, I go to the gym, and I check in, and I go inside, I work out of some sort, and then I leave. And if I proposed, what would normally be a comment or a statement as a closed-ended question, I'd be leaving and telling the person, are you going to have a good day? Instead of like, have a great day or good to see you. It would be really, really strange if everybody used the kind of interaction pattern across contexts that I see with AAC users in this very closed-ended way. Conversational partners control the interactions, and peer interaction is minimal. So when we are looking to improve this, what kind of framework should we be using when we think about it, with that effective and efficient communicator? What does that look like? And if we look at what Janice Light says as a definition of communicative competence, it's the ability to communicate functionally in a natural environment and to adequately meet the daily communication needs. And she has broken it down into 4 specific skill areas. One is linguistic skills, and this is the expressive and receptive skills in their native language spoken by the family and in the broader social community. In the classroom, those native languages, and they may be different in different contexts. Operational skills, which refers to the technical skills required to use the AAC system accurately, efficiently, and appropriately. So an example of that would be if you have a student using an iPad, they would need to be able to swipe to unlock it, or know how to turn on their Bluetooth to access a switch. Social skills. This refers to the knowledge and judgment and the skills in the social rules of interaction, being able to greet, being able to do something like that. Strategic skills refers to the compensatory strategies that may be utilized by individuals using AAC to overcome functional limitations that restrict their effectiveness as communicators. An example of this would be if I were an AAC user and someone was speaking too quickly and I needed to ask them to slow down or to pose their question in a yes or no form so that I would be able to strategically answer it as quickly and efficiently as possible. If we look at linguistic competency, this is the best way to improve an AAC user's knowledge of how the linguistic code of their AAC system is, and it's the best way to do it is to model it, and this is known as aided language stimulation. And this refers to the process of providing an aided language model to the student using these strategies: high tech, low tech, mid tech, no tech, all the tech. These are all AAC strategies. In other words, the facilitator is using the picture symbols on the communication display in conjunction with their ongoing language stimulation. And through this modeling process, the concept of using the picture symbols interactively is demonstrated for the individual. This has been called, this technique, this communication partner strategy has been called by different names and promoted by various different people along the way. And if we think about aided language stimulation for the typical language development, the child that's acquiring language typically, a baby is born and they hear and respond to spoken word. They're bombarded with language for the first 12 to 18 months, but we are not expecting them to return that spoken word until approximately 10 months of age. And that's when they will, provide us with their first single word utterance. And so they were given that 12 months to really take in that spoken language before they are expected to give it out. And if these images really help portray that you can expect spoken language out when spoken language is given in as the input. But if you're giving spoken language in and not aided language, there's a mismatch and you're not getting what you need out of your AAC user. But if you're providing that aided language in as input, then over time you can expect that aided language out as well. We have some videos here to demonstrate what I'm talking about. All right, and so this is a low-tech approach.
All right, are you ready? We are going to play a game. We're gonna have some fun. I like this to play this game. Are you ready?
Yes.
Who's gonna go first?
Me.
Who's gonna go first? You or me? Who should go first? You can say I go, or is it my turn?
I go first.
You can say it's
My turn.
my turn. Okay, your turn. You get to move. You get to turn 2, I think. Oh, nice job.
See, I did not know they would.
Hey, good job.
I did not know.
All right. Do you know what? They're the same. They make a match. All right. So I think we need to put it over there in your pile.
All right. So what you're seeing there is, yes, the child does use verbal speech, but I particularly like using this video because she does such a phenomenal job of pairing the most amount of her spoken language with aided language as aided language stimulation. And it goes beyond just her spoken language. She's also using gestures. She's also using some sign language. Let's watch the same person provide an example using using a high-tech AAC device.
Okay, are we ready? We're going to, go back. We're going to read a book. We're going to read a book. What do you think our book's about?
Buggies.
Oh, let's see if we can find our bugs. Let's go
Do the
back.
bees.
Right here.
I saw a bee.
Oh, so bees are a type of bug, right?
Yeah.
So we're reading all about, ladybugs. You're right. And I think I might see, I'm going to go back. I bet there's all different kinds of bugs in this book. I wonder if we're going to see, yuck, cockroaches. Yuck. I hope not. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
You can turn the page. All right, let's open it up.
Turn
Let's
page. You turn page.
read our book. All right, so we read the beginning, so let's get back to the where we stopped. Oh, this page says, I love, oh look, I love my mom. I love whiny, buzzy sound bugs and glide across the ground bugs.
No, not.
No, you don't? Right there's, so we can say, I don't like. Oh, you don't play with the bugs?
No.
Or did you want, I don't
play with the bugs.
Oh, you don't play with those. Yuck! Okay, your turn. You can turn the, oh, can you help me find page? I think it's under book with the read. Right there, under read. And then on top, page. Thank you. You can turn the page. Ooh. Oh, I like this. This one says, I love flouncy frilly flutter bugs and silly clitter clutter bugs.
I like that one and that one.
Oh, me too. I like that one too. Over there. Wait, where's my two? Right there. I like that too. But I thought that was really, really silly. Please. I thought that was so silly. Ha ha ha. Silly, frilly, clutter bugs.
That's it. Hi, hi, hi.
All right. Who's going to turn the page?
You.
Who should turn it? Leo or Mom? So you what? You.
All right. So I also, same person, same child, different with the high-tech device because she is, there's less words available on that layout that pair with that book, but she's able to use the same phrase repeated, that you turn the page, and not only does that increase literacy, but it also increases the opportunity for them to practice that language with the book sharing activity that can be used with any book and can be generalized across different contexts. So when you're using an AAC system for aided language stimulation, you want to think, am I able to use it to communicate with others? And if I can't use it easily, is it designed or is it programmed well? By modeling how to use this display to initiate and maintain communication, you show others how to initiate and maintain communication and not just respond. And if it's too complicated, if it's not working out, then you can imagine how much harder it is for someone that is just seeing the system for the first time or just trying to learn it. So if you look at this layout here, what do we have? We have a bunch of nouns, and you could say that if you were asked questions, you'd be able to answer. If you could only talk about Thanksgiving, right? You could talk about what you ate, and just pretty much in a single word utterance here. You wouldn't be able to say what you liked or didn't like. You wouldn't be able to say, no thank you to the gravy, or cranberry sauce is disgusting. And you also wouldn't be able to say float like a cuttlefish and sting like a jelly. It's very hard when you only have nouns available to you. But if you look at this board, you could do so much more and create so much more language by using this. You can say, let me pour, or no spoon, or, you can continue to combine so many more things when you have these more core-based words than you could with just the nouns that were available on the other board. And this applies to the high-tech systems as well. So when you're programming these systems, when we're adding buttons for our students, our children, the manner in which we create or program these aided AAC systems can often hinder rather than promote that frequent, interactive, and generative use of those systems. How far did those nouns take us when we're looking at them? It didn't take us far at all. Nouns don't generalize as well, and they don't increase your ability to communicate across different activities. If we think of the word cookie versus the word more, cookie being just a noun, but more being a core phrase, a chord word, more takes you significantly further. You can have more pasta, more sunscreen, or no more, or would you like more? Cookie is just that cookie. And you also want to use these natural contexts, building on what they already know and providing those meaningful opportunities to use augmentative systems. And the most natural way for them to learn is for them to see you demonstrating for them what that meaningful opportunity looks like. And you want to communicate across opportunities. This is a list that I use multiple times a week when I'm training other communication partners on how to give opportunities beyond answering questions. You want your students, you want your child to be able to accept something and reject something and protest. You want them to joke with their peers and do things, share a story from their weekend. These are all things that are communication opportunities that when you're providing that aided language input, you're able to see more opportunities, the aided language out from them, as opposed to just that simple answering a question. I'm going to give some more examples, and now I will also sing for you. This is an opportunity to model through using a song. So with this board, you can sing that good old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had a, animal. And with, this button here, you can press it for on that farm using all different forms of technology to model and increase output through, a common song. Another opportunity here, this is a play square, and this was paired with a book, and all of the book gets modified to be able to have these icons involved. And the little rings are helping with someone that has an access difficulty with picking something up. So you're both using real objects and the icons to enhance the play square and enhance a book sharing activity with a child. So some tips: it's very important that you wait and you give your student an opportunity to form that response and deliver it. Their process of putting together language is very taxing, and you have to allow for silence, allow for that pause. You have to be quiet. You want to stop that constant chatter and cueing while the student is able to form the response. Patience it's hard, it's very hard, but we do need to make sure that that is a priority as someone working with an aided language user. Don't continually ask, what's this? They're not on a quiz show. they don't need to answer, what's this? And that isn't a very natural form of communication. It's just identifying things in their device. And use fewer nouns. Ask open-ended questions and ask questions that elicit answers from more core-based vocabulary that can be generalized, unlike most nouns. And remember, this AAC competency takes time. And this quote gets used so frequently in our field, that Jane Corsten points out that an average 18-month-old child has been exposed to 4,380 hours of oral language at a rate of 8 hours a day from birth. And a child who has a communication system, even receiving speech therapy twice a week for 20 to 30 minutes, will reach that same amount of language exposure in 84 years. It's so important that we provide that aided language input. That oral language to that typical developing child, that 4,380 hours can be achieved so quickly because that you're expecting that spoken language out. But when you're expecting that aided language out, you need to be providing as much aided language input as you possibly can. This is another really great video that was created from this Powtoon group. I'm going to open this, and it just explains it so simply. I really enjoy sharing this with parents and family members.
Created using Powtoon.
All right. I just love that. And it's really easy for families, teachers, everybody around the AAC user to be able to understand aided language stimulation with that great cartoon video. I will share that link again on the Slack channel just so that everybody has it. They can watch it again and they can share that around as well. So I'm going to open up my my Slack Track 1 channel so that we can have some discussion time and talk about some questions. if anybody has any. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Melissa.
Awesome. So if anyone has questions, that, and we'll make sure that Jenna gets those so that she can address what your questions are.
I can also share vacation photos or provide recommendations of what to do in Europe.
While we're waiting on that, why don't you tell us, how did you get interested in AAC in the first place? It's not the most prominent field.
Oh, right. So in grad school, we had an AAC camp at Chapman, and it was a very intensive time to work with a variety of AAC users using a variety of technology, and I fell in love. It was just this amazing opportunity to reach someone that just wasn't able to use their natural speech or to supplement it. It's I work with people who use both, and I really try to make it a priority in my career now to help others find that joy in AAC that I've found, whether it be from a training that I can provide or just being able to walk alongside a family while their child is beginning to use it. But I really want everybody to get excited and enjoy it as much as I do. I definitely intend on continuing to specialize this way throughout my career.
Awesome. Okay, so you've got a couple of questions. I don't know if you can see them there, but the first one says, so we should use the student's device, not a separate identical device, I'm assuming for modeling and for aided language stimulation.
Such a good question. So I will do both. And like I said before, that it needs to be cost effective. Sometimes it's not always cost effective to have a second device around, and sometimes there isn't a second device around, and the only device is the one that belongs to the child and is the child's voice. So use that one if you can. If there are other ones available and you can use them side by side, that's a great option as well. I work in some classrooms where they will have a handful of them, and you can lead a circle time with one and provide that model while everyone still has direct access to their own device. Both work. There's no specific answer on which one's better than the other, but it can be pretty common for there not to be extra devices lying around to provide that aided language stimulation with.
Perfect. Okay, what's the best way to get resistant team members on board? If they give us the "this takes too much time, I don't have time" reason, then what?
If I have an extra version of a device, I like to let them kind of play with it in their free time. I see a lot more resistance, not because of time being an issue. It's a resistance of not being able to see what the value of the output is. They have fear, they have concerns, they just don't know how to access it, and they can't even string together a sentence, let alone model for someone else how to sequence those icons. And so I always try to encourage them to spend some time with it on their own and to improve their linguistic competency with the device so that they can be the best model possible. And I also really like to show them how valuable it is. Even in that little video that I showed, even though the child was using verbal speech, over time of modeling in that book activity, he still started using the device as well. It took a little bit of time, but it became natural for it to be included in that book reading activity. But it took that adult modeling the expectation of how to use it along the way.
Great, thank you. Let's see, another question. Do you use one specific type of icons around the classroom, like symbol sticks or board maker, or do you use different types for each AAC system?
There is, some classrooms only use, the board maker PCS. Some people are using symbol sticks, but you will have a classroom that may have Unity language users, which I understand is even like if we're talking about how to manage time and understanding a system, a teacher may need to know the Unity language and be able to model that for one student, as well as being able to integrate symbol sticks like with a touch chat user or something. It's great if they can be exposed to multiple symbols. That it creates more generalizability. I think that's a good opportunity for them if they're exposed to more than one thing. But I wouldn't say that you have to expose them to different things. I think the challenge really is for the teacher to be able to understand the different languages that are being used across their classroom.
Good. Okay, so as you've worked with teachers and other therapists and families, and there are a couple of questions here that talk about strategies you can maybe use when someone is not as on board as they ought to be. Have you seen success with somebody who maybe was reluctant at first and then got to see some results in it, and it made a difference and they changed their tune, kind of?
Yes. When you say that to me, I can think of one student off the top of my head, and it did take years of working with this person's staff, and actually sitting down and basically giving this exact presentation, and working alongside of them to show them what aided language stimulation was and how it would increase the output from their student, and how important it was for them to be able to answer and use communication across different contexts. That one slide that has the list of different contexts, I will print that out and make sure that's available. It took a long time with this one particular student, but it is my shining example of just giving as much time as possible to the people around that AAC user to build their comfort and their awareness to how important, aided language stimulation is to being able to increase that proficiency for that student.
Great. Okay, any other questions that anybody would like to ask? And if not, Jenna, do you want to share maybe like your top 3, if you were just going to start with somebody today and give them 3 tips, the best things that they can do to make this happen? What would you, in a nutshell, just say?
Get to know the device yourself first. Realize that you're going to make mistakes, and it's great to make mistakes in front of the student because they're going to too. It's natural. It happens. And to really, make a plan to use it throughout the day, not just at snack or not just, at a specific time of day that feels most comfortable. Really challenge yourself to use it throughout the entire day.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Jenna. If you have questions or anything, then we'll let you get back to your vacation. I mean, we don't want to go to Italy, so hold on, just one more came in. If I'm just starting with core vocabulary, do we start with showing all the core words at once or bring them out in pieces?
I think that really depends on the individual. And quite possibly might be covered in another presentation when it comes to vocabulary selection. That could be, a whole nother 50 minutes of discussion. That really is an individual question on how much they are able to take in on with their core words at one time when you're just getting started. I know that there can be a very systematic way to exposing core vocabulary, but it's definitely a case by case kind of answer.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for your time and for your expertise. We appreciate what you've shared.
Thank you for having me all the way across the world.
All the way across the ocean. We appreciate it. Yeah. If anybody has questions for Jenna to continue on, feel free to post them in Slack. Jenna, if there are any links or slides or things that you would like to share with those who have attended the session, feel free to post those as well. And
I will upload my presentation. That way you have, all the information that I shared. And please continue if you have questions. You can contact me on my Slack handle there, which is at jenna.williams, or with my email, which will also be on my slides. I'm always happy to share what I know with others and learn from others as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenna.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and post the survey for Jenna's presentation here in Slack. It will also be pinned to the top of the track. So if anybody's looking for the surveys for a specific session, they are pinned to the top of each track. And we'll let you go. Jenna, enjoy your vacation, and thank you again.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.